I've taken a look at a lot of package sets on this show. It's one of the most fun things that we look at. And so many people have asked me to take a look at Vice Golf's Boost Starter Set. This is a 10-piece set, driver hybrid, 6 through sand wedge, a putter, and a pretty decent bag. Now this set retails for $559. I think it is a fantastically priced set as long as it performs, and that's what we're going to be testing here today out in Carrollwood Country Club. I'll be playing 9 holes of golf with an over-under of +1. If we can shoot +1 or better, we'll know we've got a great starter set on our hands. First, let's take a closer look. First off, looking at the whole thing as a package, they've done a great design aesthetically. It just looks cool, and Vice is all about the aesthetics. Look at that driver, that looks cool too. In fact, that topographical survey map is reminiscent of the other Vice clubs that we've tested here on this show. So I like that they've carried that branding over. As you can see, this is a 10.5-degree driver, no adjustability in the hosel. So you're gonna get 10.5 degrees and that's it. You've got a tungsten weight here at the back. Apart from that, you've got some rigidness here running across the equator of this club and of course towards the face. This design lends itself to a very forgiving type of club. Aesthetically, from the top, that's your look. You've got a nice alignment line here. It's not the Vice V like we see on their more premium driver. It's more of just a V or an arrow even. And you've got some ridges here towards the back of the club. Very clean design. Overall, a black polish there on top. Really nice looking driver. The shaft itself, they call the Vice Golf Boost. This is going to be a regular flex. The grip on here is maybe one place this set falls a little bit short. It's pretty thin grip. So I could see people wanting to eventually change these grips out. But it is also Vice branded and it carries on the theme here of the set. The next club is the hybrid, and again kind of continues that look and feel. Again, really nice look at address, same shaft on that one. The head cover quality, by the way, I would say is fair. It's a really nice look. It's a vegan leather, so it's not a real leather, but it's nice and soft. I don't know how long that'll hold up, but it sure looks good. Let's take a look at the irons here. I'm gonna pull out the 8 iron for us. As you can see, there's a lot of real estate to this face. It's a very big face, which is great for a beginner. You've got a thicker top line here and you've got a cavity. A cavity-backed club is going to allow for forgiveness because it puts all the weight and all the mass here at the perimeter of the club. It's a very forgiving type of design. On the bottom of this club, you have a nice thick sole, again, going to be very forgiving. There is a little bit of offset. Offset means that you can see how the shaft kind of comes into the club and the club sort of bends out that way. That's what offset is. Oftentimes beginners, when they're first getting started, sort of don't quite get their hands into the right position and oftentimes end up leaving shots out to the right. This is going to allow for shots to generally get a little bit straighter for folks that have trouble with certainly slicing the ball or hitting it out to the right. So a nice design for a beginner. Like I said, you've got 6 through pitching wedge, and then you've got a sand wedge, which also has some offset. And again, I think that's a good idea for beginners. It's a very big face, very wide, very deep, very big top line, and again, also has a cavity, which you don't always see in wedges, but this is going to be, again, a very forgiving type of design. Now, the badging on this club is one place that I have a little bit of a concern with the irons. I've seen badges like this kind of peel off. We won't have a chance to test that here today, but long term, that could be an issue. It could not be, but I just want to let you know it's there. Lastly, one of my favorite clubs in this set, at least visually, is this putter. Beautiful milling on this putter. It's a single piece of steel that has been milled out. On the bottom, 12, 12, 12. I'm not exactly sure what that represents. Maybe that's when Vice Golf first started. Either way, for a package set, it's got a really nice grip on here. This is a pistol grip. It's not super thick. It's still kind of on the thinner side, but it's really nice feeling, and again, keeps that Vice branding. It's a blade design, which is very classic. You see that with the Ping Answer putters, Scotty Cameron putters. But in terms of a blade, it's a little bit longer and deeper, so it's kind of somewhere between a blade and a mallet. It's a really nice looking putter to my eyes. I think it's a good package. And again, it's got a really nice head cover, which I'll talk a little bit more about here later in the round. But all in all, nice clubs, and the bag itself is a really nice package, I think, as well. Again, carries on that aesthetic, looks really nice. Very lightweight. Very lightweight. It's got a stand for you, so if you're walking, makes it really easy to put it down, or if you're just storing the clubs, and you've got plenty of pockets here. Let's head out to the first tee and get to work. All right, hole 1 here is a slight dogleg left. The tee shot is really the important shot here because you don't want to miss it left. Let's see if I can actually fade one. I did, but that is actually going to be in a troublesome spot. All right, so that one peeled off to the right a little bit. We're gonna be in a bit of trouble. Hopefully we can find that ball. The sound off that driver, very high pitched, very tinny. if you will. You know, ball flight wise, I would say it was, at least the way I hit that particular one, kind of a lower trajectory. We'll continue to test here today. But on first glances, just having hit some of these clubs out on the range, things like that, I'd say the driver is probably going to be the club that eventually you're going to want to replace. The good news is Vice does have a really good driver if you want to stay in the Vice family, or there are a ton of great driver options out there. All right, so we're actually okay. We got past this tree, thankfully, and we've got a pretty clear shot at this pin, and the pin happens to be on the left-hand side today, so I would say I got a little bit lucky. I'm going to have about 145 to this pin. Early in the morning, you generally lose a little bit of distance. So whereas this would normally be a 9-iron frame, I'm actually gonna pull an 8. And I'm gonna be taking a smoother swing anyways with these clubs because of these shafts. Ideally, I'd like to get about 155 out of an 8, but if I can get 145 right now in the morning, I think that would be pretty good. Ooh, came off the club pretty nice out of this rough, heading towards the center of the green, and that distance was perfect, so I think I pulled the right club. I would say fairly forgiving because I hit it, you know, a little thin, but we still got good distance there and still got some pretty good check even out of the rough. We're gonna check the pitch mark up there, but we got a birdie putt to start. That's always a good thing. Now, I think what actually might be my favorite club in this entire set is the one we're gonna use next, the putter. Beautiful milling as we saw there in the closer look. And the grip, very premium. Now, one of the probably most nice things about this is actually the head cover. I've looked at a lot of package sets from really good ones to really cheap ones, and none of them have as nice of a head cover with a double magnetic clasp. I've never seen that in a package set as this Vice Golf. I think that is a nice little touch from Vice. This is actually a club I think could probably stay in the bag for a little bit longer than most. As you progress and you get a little bit better at golf, you start to look at changing clubs. This one could actually stay for a little bit. Pretty nice milling, but we'll see how it feels. I've got a tricky little putt here, because I did hit it a pretty good ways. I actually am about 8 to 10 yards here past the hole, and I've got a downhill putt. So we'll say I hit that about 155, which is good. So distance-wise out of these irons, plenty of pop. But this makes for a tricky putt here above the hole. Oh, it's on a good line, stay. Ooh. Now the hard part is stopping the putt, as you see. That almost went in. I wish it would have hit the hole. Now I do have a little testy 5-footer cutting back up the hill here. Nice feel though off this putter. And I'm happy for a 2-putt there. We've got our par after a pretty poor drive. We're heading to a par 5 and another test here of the driver, see if we can straighten it out. Oh, good drive there. That's a dead straight bullet down the middle of this fairway. Lower trajectory though, again, higher pitch sound, but did the job there. Now this hole is playing 525 from these white tees here today. And that means even after that good drive, I'm probably not gonna have a look at getting home in 2. That's the one place I feel like this set probably comes up a little bit short in the set makeup. I would have really loved to have seen a 5 wood in the bag or some kind of longer club. With a 4 hybrid being the longest club, other than the driver, it's not going to really make par 5s reachable in most cases for me playing out here at least. It depends where you play, of course, but for me, there's very few par 5s after, let's say, a 250-yard drive that I'm gonna get home in 2. I think if it was me designing one of these package sets, 10-piece set, I'd probably go driver, 5 wood, some type of hybrid. Maybe I like the idea of this 4 hybrid in the bag. I'd probably go 5 through maybe 9-iron. If I had to skip something, I'd skip the pitching wedge and then add a sand wedge and a putter. If we kept it to 9 clubs like Vice did here, if we have all 10 clubs, obviously we'll go down to pitching wedge. But that's how I would make up my perfect starter set, I think, at least a 10-piece set. But this one, like I said, I would have loved to see one more club in at least a 5 wood, maybe even a 7 wood. A lot of people are hitting 7 woods. It's an easier club to get up in the air. What about you? What's your perfect set makeup? I'd love to know, so leave me a comment. Like I said, I can't get home in 2 here anyways, so I'm gonna have to lay up one way or the other. I'm gonna go ahead and use this hybrid, the 4 hybrid, to get us advanced as far as we can go here up this fairway. Now, in case you're wondering, I hit this 238. All right, so a little lower trajectory, I think, is probably taking some distance off as well. That has more to do with the shaft than anything. Again, we'll see here throughout the day how it goes. I like being in the middle of the fairway anyway. And that's got to get down a little bit. Down, down. We might be blocked out. Came off the club really nice. My path was not so nice, so I hooked that one a little bit. But hopefully we've got a clear shot over there. Let's find out. Okay, I'm definitely blocked out. I took a really big hop, and now I'm in the cypress trees here. Technically I've got a lane, but I think it's a pretty stupid move if I try to go after this one. I've got 110 to the pin, so I got two options really, just punch out or try to be a hero. The problem is there's a bunker on the left and there's water to the right. There's not a whole lot of percentage, but I maybe could at least advance it that way. So 6-iron I think might work. It might be too high of a shot. So again, there's kind of a weird gap between that 4 hybrid, which I really couldn't hit on something like this, and the 6-iron being a little bit too lofted, but I'm gonna play it back in my stance and try to de-loft it. And we've got a pretty narrow window I've got to try to get through. Well, we'll see for sure just how accurate these clubs are on this shot. That'll do. It wasn't the set of trees I wanted to go through, but I kind of got lucky there. All right, we'll see if we can get up and down for a tough par here. Like a 40-yard shot here. We're taking out the sand wedge. There's a couple different ways I could play this shot. I could use like a 9-iron, try to bump and run it, or I could try to fly it a little bit further with this sand wedge. That's what I'm gonna try to attempt here. Is that too much? A little too much. All right, well, if I'm gonna avoid a bogey here, it's gonna be all the flat stick. I've got about 35, 40 feet. Should be moving just a little left or right for me. Just wanna get the weight of this putt correct. That's the main thing. Oh, gave it a good run. All right, so it's a bogey. Good distance control with this putter. Again, I think this is a pretty decent putter that they've included. I like it anyway. But we surrender a bogey. We're +1. We're right on the bubble all of a sudden on our number. I don't really love taking bogeys on par 5s, that's for sure. That's one of the things that if you're gonna play sub 80 golf and break 80, it's not a good thing to do. That and of course double bogeys, which I did avoid there. But again, maybe a place where the set makeup wasn't necessarily in my favor. Either way, we're gonna have to bear down here and play some good golf for the next 7 holes. All right, according to the group that's let me play through, it was 148 to the pin, so we'll go with that same 8-iron. Try to put a smooth swing on this. Our first chance at an ace here today. It's drawn in there pretty nice. Is it long? A little long. A little long. There's some pop in these clubs after all. All right, we're gonna get another chance at this wedge here. So I actually hit really close to the pin. Didn't get a ton of check. Again, these are not the highest launching clubs, but I did have a club in my hand that was a little bit longer. Can't complain with distance with these clubs in any way, shape, or form. Let's see if we can get up and down though. It's a tricky little shot here. Settle, settle. All right, I'll take a par there. So we're heading now to the hardest hole on this 9. It's gonna be a long hole, so again, we'll see what type of club selection I have for my second, but we gotta play one shot at a time. By the way, if you enjoy these honest, unbiased reviews, I don't have any club sponsors, anything like that, and you wanna support this show and see more of it, one way you can do that is by purchasing our merch. As you can see, I'm wearing our Mere Mortal hat. I've also got the Mere Mortal jumper on here today. You can purchase those over on our website. I will leave a link down in the description. It helps so much. We've also got a set of irons that have just rolled out. So take a look at those as well here as you're shopping for the holidays. All right, so we had a little bit of a gallery for that one. It's always a little nerve-wracking when you're going through a group. The show's called Let's Play Through, but more often than not, people are going through me. I'm generally letting people play through because we play a little slow filming these videos, but anyway, we did it. We got through it with a par. Let's see if we can get off the tee. Yes, okay. That's as good of a drive as I can hit on this hole. We should be in good shape. Now, again, we'll see if the set makeup is going to allow us to attack, because the longest iron I've got is 6-iron, and this could be like 4 or 5-iron range. It's a very long hole. It plays like 400 plus. We'll see. Let's find out. All right, this was a really good drive on this tough hole. 263 is the number, so there's enough pop in this driver. Again, you have to get the right launch angle, which I did there. So I've got 134. I'm gonna go pitching wedge, because now I'm pretty much feeling like I can get expected distances out of these irons. I was a little hesitant, as you know, with the regular shafts is what I'm assuming is in here, but we've seen now, we've blown it past the hole a couple times, that we've got some pop. Nice high shot, a little right of the pin, but a little short there. That's the announcer's curse. That's the announcer's curse, of course. Maybe I didn't quite take a full swing at it, so probably deserved it, but again, we're gonna put the sand wedge to the test here. Now that I'm seeing it, I'm not pin high, but I'm only like 2-3 yards from it, so I hit it 130, 131. Well, not my best. So it looks like 6 feet here for the par. We're going uphill though. So far, so good with this putter. Ah! All right, well, that's one more surrendered, which means we're +2, and that's a shame because I actually hit 2 pretty good shots there, but that's golf. I got to get a birdie back. We're heading to a couple holes that it's possible on. Let's do it. So this hole, if I hit a decent drive like I've hit the last couple holes, we should have a low club in our hands, maybe 9, maybe a wedge, something like that. But you can always play one shot at a time, so I'm not going to start thinking about the next shot until I hit this one. That's a good one. Yeah, we should be in that range. Took a big hop forward. The one thing about this kind of lower spinning, lower trajectory driver is you're going to get a lot of rollout. Again, I think that mostly has to do with the shaft, which I don't know much about this shaft, but just telling you from experience here now, after a few drives, it's a lower launcher for sure. All right, another 260 plus drive here leaves me with 103. So that's perfect. Now, sand wedge is a tough call. I hit it long last time. I feel like this is about a 100-yard club right now, but I don't have enough experience with it to know for sure. A pitching wedge, I know, is about a 130 to 135 club. I got to imagine I can get there with the sand wedge, but I've got to carry a bunker, and I'm on a little bit of a downhill lie, so it makes this a much more difficult shot, but I'm going to trust the club here. Is it enough? It is. Okay, I think that's a perfect spot actually to land. We're below the hole. Probably have about a 12-footer for bird. We need that stroke back. So I was talking out loud to myself and to Sean here, just thinking maybe this is a 54-degree wedge because we're getting so much pop out of it. I'm actually past that hole, and it is. So again, I might have gone 56. I think that's going to be a little bit better in the sand for amateurs. Luckily, I haven't been in the sand, but you're going to find the sand on a golf course eventually, and it's going to be considerably easier with a 56-degree wedge. So again, set makeup wise, I would have changed a couple things here. One thing I haven't mentioned though is feel of these irons. I was, just by looks, you judge a book by its cover in some ways, I thought they were going to feel kind of stiff and firm. Has not been the case at all. Very nice feeling irons for this price point in a package set, maybe some of the nicer ones. If I go back in the annals of package set irons, the Hogan irons have to be the standouts for me. Sticks would be probably second. This one's right up there in terms of feel, I think, with the Hogans, which again was a surprise. This is my pitch mark right here. Roll out a little bit, I'd say 5.5 to 6 feet. So these irons we've seen here today are not going to stop on a dime necessarily, but you're sure getting good distance out of them. That's what most beginners want to see. This putt's a little longer than I thought, probably 15 feet downhill, right to left. Come on, one time. Bam! Bam! Needed that birdie. So we're back on our number, +1. We're heading to a par 3. All right, 170 is the number. I'm gonna go 7-iron here. Should be plenty of distance. Come on, draw. Come on, draw. All right. I think I'm on the green. Again, we're below the hole. It's not gonna be super close, but we have a birdie putt, I think. As long as it stayed on the green, I couldn't tell. All right, well, it didn't stay, unfortunately. Again, distance-wise, all I need. I'm pretty much pin high here. Fairly straightforward chip. It's uphill all the way, and it should be rolling out right to left. This sand wedge has a lot of bounce, so it's gonna make it pretty playable club. A lot of times amateurs will chunk it, but having offset like this wedge does also helps. So pretty easy to play wedge for sure. Oh, go in, go in, go in. That scared me. Oh, how close is it? Can I blow it in? No. If it was downhill, it was in. Unfortunately, it was uphill. But I'll take it. I told you that wedge is playable. So highlights for me so far have been irons, putter, and this wedge. I think all really solid clubs. And we're getting good results from the driver. Let's see if we can keep it up. We got our longest hole on the course here. This par 5 is a tough one, even to get home in 3. But gonna start with the drive. This hole's playing 571 from this tee box today. Put a little more into it there. Again, I mean, I kind of pulled it, but low trajectory. We're gonna need that hybrid to really come through. I gotta get a ton of distance out of it. The good thing about being a 4 hybrid is it does have some really nice lift. I didn't do that on the second hole, but hopefully we'll pull it off here on this shot. All right, I've got a pretty good lie. Sitting down just a touch, but shouldn't be too bad here. I gotta get a lot of this one to have a lower iron in my hand to attack this pin. Didn't quite catch it. It's going down the middle of the fairway, but it's not super long. Kind of towed it. So, hey, at least it got down to there nice. A hybrid is a great club to have. I do think package sets should carry them because of that scenario. With that particular lie, a 5 wood might work or 7 wood, but a hybrid is so much easier, especially out of a fairway bunker. A hybrid is a pretty easy club to hit as long as it's flat, there's not a big lip. A very versatile club. We're not seeing them in bags of pros as often. We're seeing more of those 5 and 7 woods, but that's because they can hit their irons so long. I think for amateurs, a hybrid's a really good idea, personally. All right, so let's see what we got. 147. I'm gonna try 9-iron here because I've blown it past now with this distance a couple of times. So we're going 9-iron. Nice shot, right at it. Be the club. No, that one came up short. That might have rolled back into the bunker. Boy, I thought that was gonna be good. I do like the turf interaction from these clubs. The soles are, like we talked about, a little bigger, but they still cut through pretty nice. And like I said, just a very good feeling iron. If I play with these clubs a couple of rounds, I feel like I could really dial in the distances. They seem to be pretty consistent, but without knowing all my distances just yet, we're having to chip up a lot. The good news though, is I get to test this out of the sand, because like I said, I'm a little leery of a 54-degree wedge. I still think a 56 might have been a little better choice. I landed right in here and it rolled back. The good news is I'm on an upslope, so that will help in terms of loft. You get more loft when you're on an upslope naturally. But I'm gonna open this face up a bit. That's what you will have to do with a 54. Hopefully I can just slide the club right underneath. That wasn't too bad. Like I said, I had a little help there from the lip. Got some good action on that shot too. I don't know if you heard it, but I kind of touched the ball a little bit with the club, which I didn't want to do, but that probably also imparted a little bit more spin on there. It's a short little putt, but it's a tricky one because it's downhill breaking. Hold it. I knew it. Something about that putt I didn't love. Oh boy. Well, that was operator error there. Kind of put a negative thought in my head and I got a negative result. You got to stay positive in golf. So we're back to +2. It's been a wild round. And unfortunately, that's 2 par 5s I've bogeyed. That's really a darn shame, but we'll get it back here. All right, 2 pretty challenging holes here to finish us off. This is the easier of the 2 though. A good drive. We'll put a lower iron in our hand. Pretty well hit there. It's kind of heading towards the bunker. We might be in it. I don't know. We'll find out. That's where I was aimed. I was expecting a little bit more draw. It was actually straighter. Not a bad thing, to be honest. You want these clubs to be as straight as possible because beginners don't hit it too straight too often. So I don't mind that at all. Bad news is we're in the bunker. Good news is we have a great lie. 151. I don't have to hit this too much different than a normal shot, although I'd take a little extra club. I'd say like a half a club more. So I'm gonna play 8-iron here. My miss that I prefer to have is more towards the right side of this green. That's kind of gonna be my aim point. And if it draws, it'll still be okay, which I expect it to draw off this lie especially, plus my own swing path is a draw swing. Oh, I caught it so chunky. Oh boy. That I didn't expect. That was not even a thought in my head. All right, very, very thin lie. I'm in dirt, basically. So here's my second fairway bunker shot of the day. Let's see if I can hit the ball. 92 yards, sand wedge. I hit the ball all right. Boy, spin, please. I think that's over. So definitely overcompensated there. Chunked one, then thinned one. So here we are, past the hole. I don't want to jinx myself, but this is actually makeable. Sit. Ooh, that came out hot. Boy, I got to make a long putt to avoid a double bogey on a hole that, it's not an easy hole, but this is not a super hard hole either. All right, we need the putter to come through here. That's how I gave it too much break. So double bogey, unfortunately. Now all the strokes here have been my swings, my poor swings and poor putts. So certainly no fault of the clubs. I will be ranking in these clubs here right after I hit the drive. No, no. Oh boy. Oh boy. First real errant drive of the day. Honestly, this driver's been pretty good. So let's go ahead and rank this set. We're gonna use my normal ranking criteria here. It starts with distance. So distance-wise, I would say really a good performer. I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 as package sets go for distance. You're getting plenty of pop out of the irons. The driver, when you can get that peak height, will go a pretty long way. I still say probably the first club I would change in this set would be the driver personally, but it'll give you enough, especially as a beginner and a package set, one of the better ones out there. The next category that I rank for is forgiveness. And I think, again, forgiveness is excellent with these clubs. I would go so far as to say 4.5 out of 5. I don't see how I can't rank it at least that. When it comes to workability is not necessarily something that you really want out of a package set, so it does a good job. I could control my distances pretty well today, as you saw. I would, again, I don't see why for a package set I don't give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Now, when it comes to aesthetics, looks, feel, sound, it's almost perfect. There's one little caveat. So irons-wise, the feel, mwah, love it, love it. The wedge, again, very playable and feels very good coming off the club face. Looking down at these clubs, really nice. I would say the back of the clubs is not my personal aesthetic. The driver though, the top of the driver and the woods look really nice. So visually, very good. Sound-wise, the irons are nice and crisp, but it's that kind of tinny driver sound that really gets me. All in all, I will give this a 4 out of 5 for aesthetics. Between that driver sound, which is the sound we get with most package sets, to be honest, and then maybe that look of the back of the irons and that potential issue with the badging, again, speculation, but you may have some issues with it. I think 4 is a fair score. When it comes to value at $559, again, very solid. Now you're getting 9 clubs in a bag, really technically a full 10-piece set, but 10 pieces if you count the bag. So that means you're paying $55.90 per piece here. So basically per club, then if you count the bag. I think that's really good value, especially in today's world. Certainly there are cheaper sets you can get, but I don't think they're gonna perform as well as this Vice set. So I think they actually have it priced really well. I'm gonna give that a 4.5 out of 5 as well. So on your screen is the score. My score today has not been what I wanted, but it's been a really fun round with these clubs. And again, if Vice listens to this review, I'd love to see in maybe their second iteration, maybe some changes to the set makeup of this bag. But all in all, I think it's a great, solid starter set for a lot of folks, especially if you want that hip, cool, trendy vibe. All right, one of my balls is down here. We're actually near the range, but one of these is mine. And we'll find out here in a second. And here is my ball, probably in the worst possible spot. But I like challenging shots. It's actually something I enjoy. I'm gonna go hybrid here because I need something really low lofted, but I'm also gonna have to get a little lucky here because there's a lot of trees in my way. I gotta choke up down to the shaft, basically. Nope. And it's not much better here either. We missed our score, so we might as well really run it up. Why not? There we go. Sit. All right, 114's the number. I'm gonna go pitching wedge here out of the rough. I'd hate to go double-double to finish this round, so I have to get up and down from here to avoid that fate. Come on. Go. Got to putt at it. So we have looked at a lot of starter sets here this year. There's so many good ones, honestly. I will be doing a ranking video very soon on the channel, especially here as we head into the holidays. As I'm making this video, you're probably gonna wanna know what is the best set to buy the loved one in your life. So stay tuned for that video, hit subscribe. It's a little too soon for me to tell you right now, but this one is absolutely up there towards the top of my list. Well, double it is. Wasn't my best round, but like I said, had a ton of fun. Hopefully you did too. I'll catch you back here next time on another edition of Let's Play Through.